Hi guys, I am really pleased with how this next iteration is looking for your project on Tennyson Avenue. I have here an updated version of the 3D model where first and foremost we have shifted the entire property forward so that the cantilevered second floor is right up against the front setback, the contextual street setback. I think this is great. I think it engages with the street a lot more simply by moving forward. But I also think that the design revisions, specifically reincorporating the previously designed screen elements, but in a different, more asymmetrical fashion, really results in a very interesting home for Palo Alto. The wood slat screen that is part of the entry gate is also screening in part of the front porch, and those screen wood slats continue up through the metal band cornice that continues up through that to act as a semi-private screen for bedroom number 2 that faces the front here. This wood screen element uh, punches through an opening through the cornice, and this is going to allow a lot of light to flood behind and really brighten up this screen element and make it feel as light as it looks in the model here. I think washing this thing with light and letting light come through here and cast some very beautiful shadows throughout the day is too good of an opportunity to pass up. So I've actually taken the liberty of punching openings through this metal-clad cornice here at the front porch element that's right over a wooden bench directly across from the front door. There's also an opening in the roof and side elevation here, just to add a little bit more visual interest. This was the last element I added to the design, and I'm not entirely sold on it. I think it might be, equally compelling, not equally compelling, but compelling enough without that. In fact, maybe it's simpler, maybe it's too simple. I don't know. And of course, I like the ability that when I'm up in this bedroom, of course, I've got a really cool view seeing these wood screen elements and looking down into the narrower, but still, greater than 20-foot front yard. I like seeing that, but I do also like being able to look down the street somewhat. It's not a complete view, but it lets a little more light in. I know what you're going to say. This bedroom has enough light. Um, Certainly that might be the case. I think I need to tweak this so it's a bit more centered. But I do think this is an interesting element to consider keeping. And like I said, I did also punch another opening through this cornice element at this screen, which turns 90 degrees and provides screening for this bedroom 3's side-facing window that faces directly into the neighbor's front entry courtyard area. This screen comes down here and punches through an opening in the cornice, but doesn't go all the way to the ground. It stops about a little more than 8 feet off the patio floor. I think that's a really interesting play when approaching the front of this home, is seeing this wood screen slats going, from essentially the floor up through halfway through the roof. And then these ones here seem to be attached to the roof and hang down, not quite halfway down. But I like this play of these two screens, penetrating through and being about a story and a half tall. As we continue around the rest of the model, you'll notice that universally all the windows have been shrunk down. So instead of using a 36-inch wide module, now everything is using a 30-inch module, so 2.5 feet. So all the windows are smaller, all the sliding glass doors are smaller. I still think it looks extremely attractive. I could probably go either way with the windows being wider or narrower. This does look really good, and as a happy coincidence, when I set these windows here to be 30 inches wide, the leftover space between them also happened to be the same 90 inches. So that seems like almost too good of a coincidence not to just run with. On the second floor here, I've introduced a little bit of stone slab work just to tie these windows together in a way that's different than what you'll see throughout the rest of the model, which is using a dark painted stucco, for example, at the windows here between the office, across from the office doors, and at the office bathroom. We rely on a little bit of black painted stucco. Here I thought it'd be nice to incorporate a light colored element, which I guess could just be white stucco, but something a bit more high end to draw the eye as you're coming in through the front entry here. I think it's really nice, and it sort of does pick up a little bit on that light colored brickwork that wraps around the living room, garage, and the courtyard elevation. So this is the backside looking at bedroom 2 and bedroom 3, the smallest bedroom. I think this is a really good looking building facade. I like seeing this horizontal metal siding here, these metal panels in this horizontal fashion. Vertical fashion. I said horizontal, I meant vertical. I think this looks really compelling. The office is now clad in wood siding to make the front elevation look a little more high end, and also to give there a little bit more of this wood treatment. It almost seems like perhaps this wood screen, once it hits the wall, the wood starts spreading around the corner for the office. And I love this detail here that where the office meets the entry wall, we've got this brick veneer that is on the outside and continues onto the interior of the wall that goes into the office. But we're doing the same thing now for this seating area at the office sliding glass door. We've got this low wood wall that's capped with a standard sized clear story window from the Anderson 400 catalog. I just think that looks so perfect to see this little wood wing wall here, clad inside and out. I think this is a nice design with the slight angles to this poured in place wall, concrete wall. I think this could get tweaked a little bit later, but I really like using this as an opportunity for a built-in bench area. Seems quite lovely. And just to get a sense of the overhead scale of the front yard, I think this is a nice size. Okay, let's continue through the rest of the house. Not much has changed for these elevations here, other than seeing slightly smaller windows. That did not change at the family room. At the family room, I stuck with the 36-inch wide. It's the great room. It's going to have slightly bigger windows, but that's okay with me. One change I did make at the back here is to continue this cornice design element that we have now also at the front elevation. We've always had here at the master suite. I've now incorporated something similar at the covered patio. Instead of having just a beam element here, this element now continues all the way down into the light well. I think that's an interesting way to engage the eye and bring the eye down into the light well. And I think there might be some advantage to seeing this amount of shear wall for the structural engineer in this plane. hide the neighboring buildings so we can get a clearer view of this side of the home. Not much will have changed here other than a little bit of change in materials. I'm now using a lot of this light gray painted stucco, and we've got a bright white stucco that's used for the office, the stair tower, the elevator tower, and even the little bit of a hallway upstairs leading to the master suite. A little bit of wood siding turning the corner for the office, but using the light well as a termination point for where the wood transitions to stucco in plane. And this here is just another copy of what's happening at the front elevation between the bedroom windows, just to spruce up this large uninterrupted void of stucco at the elevator, but it doesn't have to be stone. Certainly that's a pricey element to put on a side elevation. This could probably just as easily be an inset of gray stucco, for example. And then let's take a look at the depth of the backyard. We'll step over into the side entry area. I hope now with the added depth for the backyard, you'll feel a lot more encouraged about the amount of rear yard openness that we feel. Certainly we could decide to make the covered patio space shallower in depth, but I like the ability to comfortably sit a seating area out here under the covered patio area. I do think this area would get a ton of immediate use and make the great room feel larger and more connected to the backyard. But certainly we could reduce this couch length here, and this furniture is just placeholder. For the ADU, not much has changed other than reducing the size of the doors. And instead of going with large sliding glass doors, we'll just go with a pair of French doors here in the middle to meet the egress requirements. These will also have to be 36 inches to meet the code requirement for egress for an ADU. But I think that's fine. For a cabana like this, I would want to see a glassy corner here. So I'm opting to keep this, what was a hinge door. This will still be glass, but now it will just be window. Operable window above, tempered low lights here on either side of the doors. I think this is a very compelling design for the ADU. And its glass corner here ties in very nicely with the inside glass corner we have for the main home. And as always, I am eager to hear your thoughts on this latest design. Thank you so much.